Kid Cudi's hums have been, a signature part of his career since the beginning of his career. And it's an element that, he's carried out throughout his whole entire career at this point.
It's pretty impressive. But guys, listen, before we actually get into this episode, don't forget to subscribe. Leave down in the comments which Man on the Moon do you prefer out of the trilogy. And not only that, guys, but we just did a review on Man on the Moon 3. Went pretty crazy. But listen, Lou, you're absolutely right. It's a secret weapon of his. And people know that every time you go into a Kid Cudi song, you could expect some type of vocal performance. So Lou, take us into the episode and just explain why it's such a big weapon of his.
Yeah, and before we get into this, guys, if you're new to the channel, we're doing reviews, industry updates, and this type of content on the weekly. So
Absolutely.
Subscribe if you haven't already. So for this Kid Cudi episode, I just want to talk about how impactful his hums are, and how there's no other hip hop artist that kind of introduced this type of vocal element that's been so iconic throughout the years. And I think that the reason behind that is because no one could hum like Kid Cudi. People have tried, but no one can do it on his level. And not only that, but I mean, humming is such an intimate thing that usually like your mother or your grandmother,
Absolutely.
kind of does to you. So when Kid Cudi does it, you feel close to him and you can kind of really feel his deep emotions, and it resonates with the listener.
Absolutely. And the type of energy that is being projected through that hum is absolutely beautiful. I mean, not only that, but he's not someone that has traditional production. And, a big part of that is because a lot of his vocals are in his production. And you see that he likes to play with his synths. Obviously, he has such a big influence on his own production because he is his own producer to a certain extent. And even the engineering throughout the songs. I mean, Kid Cudi's hum is perfectly engineered and instilled in that track. You could be listening to it in the car, on your phone, on a mini speaker. It will do well. Not only that, but I feel as if Kid Cudi's vocal performances are low-key super underrated because
They are.
A lot of people know Kid Cudi for obviously his party bangers and the shit that he did in 2010. Maybe Kids See Ghosts, but a lot of his discography are made up of these vocal performances. Not only that, I'm sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant right here, but we have to know that Kid Cudi was actually used as a hook man at first for Kanye, and that's what Good Music wanted to see him as, just because they knew how valuable he was. So Lou, take Kid Cudi's humming out of his music arsenal, and what do you have left?
Oh, you definitely still have, great rapping ability and just, a great singer at that too. If you look at a song like Reborn off of Kids See Ghosts, like that's one of his best hooks of all time. And of course, his hum is what ties it all together. And yeah, it's definitely, underappreciated to some degree. But at the same time, if you look at a song like Ghost off of Man on the Moon 2, his hums at the end of that song really bleed in with the production and with the electric guitar that you could hear in that song. So I just love how not only is it part of his vocal performance, but it becomes an instrument at a certain point. And Kid Cudi, he's done it since the early days of Man on the Moon, and he's carried it out all the way to Man on the Moon 3, in 2020. So it's something that I hope that he keeps carrying forward throughout his career, and it's amazing to see how much of an impact it's had on people.
For sure.
Even if you look at like social media, like Twitter pages and stuff, there's always a meme of like, okay, this Kid Cudi hums are entrancing me, they're transcending me, they're bringing me to another universe, and
Yeah.
it's a common sentiment that so many hip hop fans have.
For sure. I want to ask you this. How do you feel about them on his feature game? Because, we know that Kid Cudi has a very strong feature game, and in a lot of them, he low-key takes care of the production too. So how do you feel about it, and what are some like memorable, let's say, features from him?
Definitely Through the Late Night.
Oh, yes. That's the first one I wanted to hear.
The way that he starts off that song is amazing, and then the way he just starts off with that quick energy, fantastic. Another one, of course, another Travis song, Stop Trying to Be God. You mix Kid Cudi's hums with with Stevie Wonder's harmonica. Insane.
Fantastic. And it's generational music. I mean, you could ask anyone born in our generation, how they feel about Kid Cudi, and most of the time it will be positive because that's the type of music he's making. Mix that in with the type of writing he has, and it's a complete experience. It's cinematic value. And at the end of the day, this is going to be one of the most recognized skills in an artist. When we're going to be talking to future Kid Cudi fans, they're going to be like, yes, it was his humming that did it for me.
And definitely. And I think that, his impact is massive. And we also have heard from Travis Scott that, he said that Kid Cudi's music actually saved his life. Like he thought about doing like some self-harm at certain points, and listening to Kid Cudi's music got him away from that path. And, he gives, listeners someone to relate to. And like I said, that humming is such an intimate instrument that he utilizes, and it makes his music so much better.
Absolutely. So I think we're going to end it here, man. Kid Cudi has a lot of beautiful music. His vocal performances are practically goated. And not only that, guys, but before you guys leave this video, we had the Man on the Moon 3 album review out. And tell your friends about this. We're trying to connect the world to hip hop. We're going to be doing this on the daily practically. I think we're at like 4 videos a week now. So guys, keep coming in, keep supporting. Thank you, guys.